Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And back again for another week. Like always, clapping them cheeks, it's the best producer in the whole wide world, Mr. Ozark Mark. Mark, how are you feeling down there?
Not too good. I'm hungover.
Oh, no.
The Bengals are 0-3.
Yeah, that's not good.
I've had the bubble guts all day. Been farting all over the place. So, you know, if you smell something over there, I apologize for that.
You're good. I haven't noticed, and we'll blame the Bengals, okay? And it's all right.
You know what I noticed, though? The louder the fart is, the less it smells.
Yeah.
You ever noticed that?
Yep. Well, that's God made it that way. So, like, if you clear a room full of, people, like, you don't look like the asshole. You don't look like a jerk.
It's always the silent ones and the warm ones that are deadly.
Oh, yeah. Clear a whole room.
Yep. Well, this is the Sloppy Road to Halloween, and we're right back up in it. Now we are getting closer to Halloween, and leaves are falling. On my way here, my long drive here, I saw a bunch of Halloween decorations out, so everybody's getting in the mood. It's getting good. All we need is a nice frosting in the morning to kill all these goddamn mosquitoes, and then the world will be complete, but we're still working on that.
Yeah, I'm not mad at getting the skaters going.
Skaters.
As a person who loves summer and the fall, I have this, I go from, cutoffs and, swim trunks in just super summer vibe, and then one day, once that frost hits, it's like my hair's grown out and I'm putting on hooded flannels and it's grunge's back, and you're like, you know what? Fuck everything. It just is an immediate mood change. And for people who don't live in a place where seasons change, I don't know if the same thing happens, but it's a whole different time of year. It's a whole different you. There's a whole different feeling going on. So that's how I am.
It's a whole different feeling coming into you.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's not only just because of the outdoors, but there are different sections of my closet for different seasons. You're like, oh no, I know how I'll be feeling. Oh, that's wintertime. That's wintertime. But that's not now. It is, like you said, the road to Halloween. We are getting closer, and we had to, this is a bell ring moment. This is a completion of a franchise of every title from this certain character from the story. Because we've already covered the miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered Chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
And boys and girls, today we are talking about It Chapter 2.
It?
It's It.
It?
It.
You guys watching It?
How's It? Pennywise.
It Chapter 2. What year did this come out?
So this is 2019, and, we do have... Don't worry, everybody. I got a lot to talk about. Don't have to worry about that. But we're not going to fill the shoes because this is a few years ago. All right, if you don't remember 2019, then you know what I mean. You need to clean your bong. You need to do a little something, or maybe take a day off. Have a day off of whatever you're doing, because that wasn't that long ago. But I do need to say, before we start this show, if you are watching on YouTube, do us a favor and go ahead and subscribe, because it helps the channel out big time. We're not a channel with 5 million followers, but we are growing, and we love all of our fan base. You guys mean the world to us, but we don't pay for plugs. We don't have advertisements on this show. This is the only thing you're really going to hear throughout the whole show, and it's me talking about my own shit. And if that bothers you, well, you could tickle a pickle, because I am here to let you guys know I can't do this all on my own. I need your help, so subscribe to YouTube, and that way you get access to all the full-length video episodes. And if you're an audio listener, Spotify, Apple Podcast, you can still open up your YouTube and do that, but you can also open up and give us 5-star rating, because that just bumps it up, helps us out. Folks, I did a bonus episode on the Patreon, just some, Halloween ramblings and whatnot. I don't know if any of you guys caught that, but there's the Patreon, if you guys didn't know about that. That's a place where you can go find a shitload of bonus episodes, and once again, it's a very cheap price, about a cup of coffee, and what that does is help us keep the lights on around here. But furthermore, even furthermore, these t-shirts, I am not getting us one. You've seen the t-shirt, at this point, Mark, right? You've seen the Road to Halloween T-shirt. It's pretty sick.
It is pretty nice.
So,
it's a good piece of clothing.
It is a good piece. That's a nice piece of fabric. I like that. Nice threads, dog.
I like your clothing choices you chose today.
Fresh fit, homie.
Yeah.
So
nice drip, yo.
So I talk to my son when I want him to get up and do stuff. You're acting real sus, bud. And like I could say it normal if I was saying it in conversation, but you don't. You just
you got to say it dumb so it makes fun of them when you say it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But you guys really need to check these out because if you're listening to this episode after Halloween, sorry, because it's gone.
Yeah, and if you get yourself a shirt, show us a fit check.
Yeah, no.
Is that what they call it, right?
Yeah, tag us on Instagram, everything.
Yeah.
Show us all over and let the world know.
Ladies, just wear the shirt. That's all you need to wear in your fit check. We'll just get that out there.
And fellas, if you're feeling creative, like I'm not trying to see your cornhole, but like if you find like a really funny, like a calendar kind of photo shoot that you do, I'll watch. I'll look at it. I'll look at it. I'll look at it. I'll post it. I'll probably post it as long as it can be posted. I'll post it. But seriously, we work really hard on those and those T-shirts. I mean, it says Sloppy Road to Halloween 24. So you can't get that nowhere else. It's like a band tour T-shirt, man. It's like I said, we're coming to your town and we're here for a few weeks. And if whether you're gonna get stuff or not, you can't let nobody know you're there. But you got one of them church, you can say, I was here from the fucking beginning, dude. So, let's move on. Let's move on into our clown friend. We're not filling shoes. We're not going to do that.
You got to do a synopsis now.
I do have to do a synopsis.
That's the next thing in the line that you do.
But I want to almost give a foreword, a prelude to the synopsis here.
Yeah, give me a pre-nut.
Behind Ozark Mark is the It book from Stephen King. It's back there. It's a door stopper of a book.
It's a goddamn Bible.
Yes, sir. I have read this book before, and I try to read it every Halloween. I don't always complete it every Halloween, but I'm reading it every Halloween time. I don't know why. I just really do. I really enjoy it, but I also listen to it. If you were to purchase this book on Audible, take a guess on how many hours it would take you to complete it.
12 hours.
Double it, plus more.
24.
Plus more.
84. No,
40. It's 40 something. Yeah, it's 40 something. It's like 44 hours.
Thought you said multiply it.
But here's the deal. After you've watched these movies, the book is actually, some people process the book before the movies, okay? And good for you folks. That's awesome. Or the miniseries, I should say. But
it's very elegant it's exquisite of you.
Yeah.
Whatever the word is. I don't know.
But after having all of this media content, per example, say like Batman's parents being killed. There's like 800 different renditions of that. You've seen Batman's parents killed in even cartoon version of Batman. There's so many different versions of that within a movie. It's a legend that lives within your head. And the It story kind of does as well too. There's even different faces. I would say both miniseries and movies cast it incredibly. All of the characters work as the characters. But to read the book, it does. It adds a further level because I would say it's a lot easier, obviously, once you know the characters, you know who Pennywise is, to jump into that door stopper. But there's a audiobook, fucking incredible. I'm trying to forget. I forget who narrates it, but it's incredible. Steven Weber is who does it. He was the dad in the miniseries Shining, like that one. He was in Wings. The dude does great, man. The voice is incredible, but it adds a lot. There's a lot of jelly in those donuts there. There's a lot of jelly in those donuts. And one thing that it does is it brings all of these characters to life in a big way. You really identify with a lot of these characters. Stephen King's always been great at writing characters, but this is thick. And then you have the movies on top of it. So there's just these whole archetypes, and you really do care for these characters after some time. I love the movie Stand By Me, and you identify with those kids, but it's really a short story. It's a short story, so you don't have as much to go off of, and there's only that one movie. I mean, they live in our hearts still, but it is just so big. It's like the Batman's parents being killed. Like, you know multiple Alfreds, you know multiple Robins, multiple Jokers, but the character lives in your heart as all of them. And the book really helps with that. And the one thing I will say with it, too, is it as well. All movies deal with some kind of adversity, right? Like, I don't care if you're Simba and you just can't wait to grow up and be king, even though your dad died and your uncle's a jerk. Every movie, you're overcoming some form of adversity, or it'd be a dumbass movie. Like, even comedies, there's something that they're trying to accomplish, right? There's some goal that they need to do. They're trying to beat something. And most of the times, they overcome their biggest flaws and whatever. The It story is that on fucking steroids, all right? This isn't like sloppy horror psychology hour, but every human being has that one thing that troubles them, right? Like, when you look in the mirror, there's that one thing that makes you insecure. I don't know what that thing is because I've got my own. Everybody has that one thing that they know they need to work on. Everybody has that one thing. And it's like, some people multiple, I'm sure, but there's that one thing. But the multiple things are usually more accomplishable, or they're easier obtained. But that one thing, right? There's that one thing. And it accentuates that to the fullest degree. And if you can watch it as like, oh, hell yeah, Pennywise the clown fucks these people up as kids, and then he comes back and gets them as adults because he's an asshole. It's like, there are many characters who play on your psychological fears, whatever. Freddy Krueger, for example, right? It's done in a more slasherous way, a more comedic way, which Freddy's my favorite. I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm just saying it's a little more almost digestible. It feels serious, dude. Like Pennywise, whatever the creature is, the dead lights, it's the most evil thing that just comes after your worst fears. And it will kill your friends and family. Like, super intense. And it makes those people look in the mirror and fight that one thing. And it's heavy, man. It's really heavy because some of their things are not easy. For example, you get like Beverly. Obviously, she grew up with a very violent father who was physical, and the book even worse, goes even furthermore into detail. And then she grows up and she marries a fucking asshole husband who's smacking her around and beating her up and stuff. So it's like, that's her thing, right? That's her monkey on her back. Then you have like Eddie, who's like the hypochondriac, and it's hard for him to not be so freaked out all the time and to overanalyze everything and to be so dismissive. Like, there's some heavy, heavy issues that all of these guys really have to fight and have to deal with. And it's like, they don't spare any details. This isn't a short film because they're going after each person's thing. And there are horror movies who touch these topics, but I just really, really think that this story in general is so rich in how it does that. And I don't know, with it being a doorstopper of a book, how well, it obviously takes long movies, but to really be able to put a chunky, good story out that fully represents the story. Are there parts that are not in it? Of course. But it's not so heavy to the point where it doesn't get to the point. I was more critical of it chapter 1 and 2 upon release because I didn't hate the movies at all. I thought they were cool. They were a little more blockbuster. There was a little bit more CGI. Looked a little bit more beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I don't necessarily hate it for that reason, but I prefer practical effects, obviously. I want a little bit more gore. I love Tim Curry. But after going back and watching these two, I mean, Tim Curry and miniseries are still my favorite, but really, hats off to It Chapter 1 and 2 for tackling that book and really portraying the story well. And I thought the characters were very rich. I loved the casting choices, and are there some flaws? Are there parts where I preferred practical effects over? Yes, but it's not Bill Skarsgård's fault. And him as Pennywise, he does do a good job. I can't say he did a bad job. And I love his voice. I do love his voice. I'm still going Tim Curry. That's my Pennywise. But damn it, Bill did a great job. And watching it again, it really, I think I have more of a liking because it's out of like the fame stage of it, or like the infatuation stage, because it was very marketable for a minute. Mark,
was that a synopsis, or yeah? Did you do that?
No.
Oh, okay, you're still going.
Yeah, that was just kind of the prelude there. But I just wanted to lay out that there's a lot of jelly in the It donut, and we can't just kind of vaguely state that, like can't just jump in there. The first movie dealt with the Losers Club, the group of friends who battled Pennywise and defeated him for the time being, and they made a pact that they would defeat him again if he ever came back. And Pennywise is this, like, not only is he a clown, but he's like this, the worst energy in the world, like an entity that lives in this town, and it just eats on children and people, and it comes back every 27 years, and it's just like a plague. It's really hard to describe how far his reach is, because he just has been around since forever. And obviously 27 years has passed. Now they are adults in It Chapter 2, and they have to come back together and come to Derry, even though they've all lived their lives. You know, Bill's grown up. He's a writer. All of them have grown up and essentially moved out of Derry, except for Mike. And it's kind of like that Freddy Krueger thing, like where you have to fear him to make it really work. And most of them have moved away and outside of the, we'll say, the footprint of Pennywise. But Mike never has. And he knows that Pennywise is coming back because he still kind of has all of his memories of what happened when they were younger. But most people don't. Like, it really is blocked out of their mind, like a traumatic event. Well, Mike calls them, and it's like all comes back for them, and some of them are apprehensive, but they all know they have to do what they have to do to fight Pennywise again. And they do win, but they lose Eddie in the process, you know.
Well, you lost Eddie and
Stan.
And the Stan. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So it's personally, like I said, going back, I think watching It Chapter 1 and then having to wait for 2, I don't know if I felt like I didn't have all of the story, you know, or like I didn't see the full picture. Not that I hated it. And then I saw Chapter 2 as well, and I was like, oh, cool, another installment. But there was some time between it where I just didn't combine them. And now that I've combined them, it's like, you know what? I mean, if you think of those little kids, the little kid actors and their adult versions, it's pretty uncanny, their selections. They look very similar. Like, it's not a stretch at all. You're like, oh, yeah.
No, that's one of my favorite things about these two movies is the kid. They did probably, that's the best job that they did out of anything, was taking the kid actors. They did a great job. And then you move forward and then you make them as adults.
Yeah.
And every single one of them, to me, I believe that that's their older version.
Yeah.
They're just like the kids. I mean, you believe that all of them were those kids at one point.
Absolutely. And let's just do, this is crazy. So, like, this isn't like a what do you know fact, kind of a common thing that I've heard, but maybe if you've never really ventured into it, if you're not a horror nerd or whatever, maybe you don't know. But that was a part of the process since, like, from the first movie, and they let the kids help choose their adult counterparts. So, like, it was a thought process, like, of who they were going to have, but they were like, all right, you know, who do you think would look the most like you? Who would you guys like to see? And, like, they really worked hard on it for, like, months. It's like, that's cool. But, like, could you imagine just being, like, an actor and just getting, like, a call, like, what do you want me to try out? And they're like, no, we want, like, you specifically because of you. And you're like, what? all right, cool. Yeah, I'll come check it out. And you just see like your little doppelganger kid, and you're like, oh shit, like a little Ozark. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that'd be very funny. Like
fucking weird.
But let's lay out our cast here. So we have Bill Hader, who plays Richie. Love Bill Hader, great. James McAvoy, from X-Men and Split. Guy's a great actor, incredible actor. He plays Bill Denbrough. Jessica Chastain plays Bev. Let's see, James Ransone, he played Eddie. And like the little boy version, that was that Finn Wolfhard. That was that Stranger Things kid. I don't know what the other boys that did. Jay Ryan, that was the one that played Ben. The dude that like had like the fucking 12-pack Jesus abs. That guy probably didn't eat for 2 months before that scene.
No, hell no.
That made me like hungry looking at him. Like that's not. Like
it's not healthy.
That's
like
not. That was too much. That was too much.
No, you're not supposed to have your abdominals showing.
Not like
it's
that.
It's not. That means you're malnourished and
Yeah.
you need to eat something. I'm not saying you should be fat, but like everybody has abdominals.
Yeah.
Now, you can have a little bit of shape to them.
You
but
want definition.
You want definition, but you don't want the fucking chiseled, ripped shit. It's unhealthy.
That's not. Yeah.
It's bad.
Like that person's probably angry because they only eat leaves. But if that's
Dude,
your thing,
I
whatever.
Guarantee after that movie, that boy went to McDonald's. He went
Immediately
over
after that scene.
He went over the edge.
Like, can you imagine like reading that? Like, we got to zoom in on your stomach, and he's all like,
God damn it.
like, but what?
Fucking green beans.
But there is. It's so funny because there are so many tattoos that I have that like I'm going to get like covered, updated. Just I got when I was younger. But the one where people ask is my red rum across my stomach. They're like, what about that one? I'm like, absolutely not, bro. Like, that's like, it's just if you know me, like, that's just kind of like, A, it's funny that I have it. But then, like, B, like, that's just kind of who I am. Like, that's just always, I would just say that's a piece that I've kind of been known for. But the reason I love it, the reason why I find it appropriate for me is there are so many fucking horror movies where there are words carved into stomachs or bellies or chests. And I love that. I don't have Tupac's Thug Life. No, I have the horror movie thing going on because that works for me. The red rum. And anytime I see it in a movie, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I know what that's like, though. Like, yeah, like, I got that too, bro. Like, maybe that's what I should have did was just Henry. Henry. We got Henry. You never seen it? Is that your boyfriend? Shut the fuck up, dude. But, yeah, the casting is incredible. And what's also really cool is if you really, not everybody shits on the miniseries, but the people who weren't alive for it can go back and say, look, oh, this movie is kind of not as good. And you're like, oh, that thing that came out is like 3 long TV episodes on ABC that was not allowed to do certain things, like that your theatrical movie was 30 fucking years later. Like, there are differences. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are differences, or 25 years. But the casting in the first one, obviously, Tim Curry is Pennywise. Hello. Little kids, Seth Green was Richie, right? Like, John Ritter is grown-up Ben. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Fucking Emily Perkins. The one girl from Ginger Snaps was in it. Fucking, let me run down this list here. Dennis Christopher. The list goes on. I'm trying to find who the fuck played adult. Annette O'Toole, that's who played Adult Bev. There were so many big actors and actresses for that time that were in that. Like, John Ritter, dude, like, hell yeah. Like, that's Three's Company, man. That's motherfucking Clifford the dog. That's Bride of Chucky, homie. We didn't always deserve what we got, but the flack that the miniseries gets, like, it's not filled with great actors, is bullshit. So, I disagree. I just think it's dated, if anything, but not Tim Curry. He still looks great. But the fact that everybody went hard in the paint making their project, there is just so much story you can go out there and fill your life with. Like, I'm sure, Mark, you're not generally the person who's going to listen to a 40-hour book, but if for some damn reason you had to, I feel like this book you could get through because you know the damn story. You know the characters, you know what's going on, and you like clowns. And honestly, the fucked up part is you and I would not consider dumb individuals. I'm not saying we're Albert Einstein, but we've seen enough movies where we're going to live. But damn it, I feel like if you wanted to trap Ozark and I, you just need to make some kind of like fun house, like Beetlejuice strip club, or, you know, clown fun house with a clown in it. And we would probably, our stupid asses would walk in. Because, oh, shit, dude. There's a fun house. And like the Beetlejuice strip club, you know what I'm talking about? Where he's like, hey, and walking.
Here I come, baby.
That might be our weakness, dude. Especially if there's a funny clown in there. That might be our trap. Oh, shit, dude, I can't not go. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how you get us, all right? Because I think some people are so terrified of that they're out, like we are with most normal horror situations. But I do think that may be our weakness, where we would get, even in a sober mindset. Like, as a matter of fact, if I was pissed off, I might look over and be like, well, this is just what I needed, dude. A house of mirrors? Where has this been? I'm definitely going in here. Why would I not? You ever been in a house of mirrors? One mirror, you're like short and round. One, you're tall and, yeah, come on now. Come on. What are you, fucking the fun police? I don't know, man. That's where we would slip up, dude. It's where we'd slip up. Now, this may be goofy. I don't know if we've discussed this before, but for the sake of saking and continuity of the episode, Ozark Mark, is this your first time seeing It Chapter 2?
No.
Cool. What's your favorite from Chapter 1 or 2? Or do you have a favorite?
Which one I like more, between 1 and 2, or?
Yeah, and not miniseries, but just like between Chapter 1 and 2.
Probably 2.
I agree.
I like 2 better.
I think initially I would have said 1, but watching 2 again, there's enough flashbacks because there's a lot of flashbacks in this, which I thought, that's almost film suicide, dude, is flashbacks. Mm-hmm. Or dream sequences. That could really kill a fucking movie.
And it looked like they probably did the flashback scenes while they were filming the first one. You would have to have, because they would have aged. So I think that's what they did, right?
I think the guys are going to get into some of that later. But I will say, yes, some were done. Absolutely pretense. They did have to do, obviously, some. They had to do some a little later on. But, yeah. The way that those blended were incredible. That's when you watch a great dream sequence in a movie that makes sense, or a flashback scene, and it works and it doesn't come off as corny or as stupid, applaud the filmmaker, because they're not easy to do. Like, think about trying to make one of those scenes with a camera right now. You'd be like, wait a second. Like, right? Like, there's some weird transitions here. How are we going in about this, dude? I gotta give credit where credit's due, and I think they did a very good job at that. And as we alluded to before, the actors blended so well together, they looked so similar when they'd show them as a kid and then flash into the adult. That happens in many scenes. Like, do you think the Saving Private Ryan, you know, Matt Damon aging into the old guy at the cemetery? Like, there's so many movie scenes of that where the young guy, now he's the old guy, and you're like, oh, is that him growing up? How's that him now? And you feel like you kind of get that self-satisfaction for, like, noticing a thing that they want you to notice. Oh, that's him now, because he's got the same shirt on. But for real, why is there that satisfaction there? And it's not hard. Like, they clearly made it easy to see.
It's like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Whoop, 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 whoop.
That's him. He's holding the dog collar.
I figured it out.
Yeah. So,
well, good for you.
I just think, kudos for that. Kudos for that. And I will say this is a flick that, watching more and more, I've liked more. And maybe it just caught me at the right time, because, as I said, I start listening or reading this book around this time of year. I just like it. I like it, and I do think it's a deeper story and book than, like, you could read it for multiple reasons. Like I said, you can watch this for, like, hell yeah, Pennywise kicks some ass, I love clowns. Or if you're like, damn, dude, people are battling some demons up in here. Battling some demons. Going through life, brother. Shit hurts. people out here just doing it sober and stuff. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. We're all dogging life. Just fighting Pennywise all by yourself, dude. That's nuts.
Sober.
Yeah. Like not even an energy drink or something, dog.
Damn.
Like
Not even a Gatorade, nothing. Well, you have managed to talk our heads off here, but we need to stop for a second and we need to learn more things about this movie. Whoa, welcome to the What Do You Know here, this segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. You know how the spiel goes. I'm not going to do it this time, so fuck you. So why don't you tell me something you may or may not know about this movie here?
we're gonna tip of the iceberg here. Tip of the iceberg here. Look, just to start off, all right? We're just grabbing it right now. Just grabbing it. First off, at 169 minutes.
You twisted a little bit.
169.
Jesus Christ.
That's good.
That's way too long.
69.
That's like 3 hours.
I mean, if you're over 100, you're going to go 69 at that point, you know.
I think so. Why wouldn't you?
At 169 minutes.
Sheesh.
This film is the longest horror film to have a theatrical release.
That makes sense.
But you know what? I have to be invested in it, and I don't know if it's like we're used to like binging TV shows and shit like that. I will say, I have watched shorter movies that have felt 5 times as long as this. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like, you know it's long.
This thing, you know, it takes a while to get into, you know, but it's a long story. I mean, that's like a quarter of the story in the movie, basically. So, you know, it's gonna be long.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? It's a long story.
But, you know, I don't want to, I don't want to leave you there. I don't want to leave you there. Because obviously we know Stephen King, he makes cameos in his movies. He makes a cameo in this one. He's the shopkeeper. And he sells the bike back to Bill Denbrough. But if you look in that shop, he's got a license plate that's above his head that says, the numbers and letters there, Well, I'm trying to think. What's Q? Charlie? What's Q? Because I know it's not Queen.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The Alpha Bravo Charlie. What the fuck is Q? I know that. What's Q?
I don't know.
Oh, that's gonna bother me.
Aren't you supposed to know this? It's your fact.
I know. No. I was trying to do it like a police officer, like trying to read you the license plate here.
Yeah, don't do that.
We're gonna
just figure
out what Q is.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll figure it out later. Just say regular or something.
CQB241. That's the license plate.
Okay.
You know what the significance of that is?
No.
Wow.
Why would I know that? What makes you think I know that?
That's the license plate from the Christine car. And obviously Stephen King wrote that too.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a little whoop moment there.
Yeah. And you know what
that sneaky son of a bitch.
And the thing is too, when he offered Quebec, that's what Q is. All right. But when he offered, to sell he wanted to buy the bike. And Stephen King said $300. And, initially that's what George LeBay offered, to sell the car for in Christine. So it's a nice little
homage. I like me a nice solid homage. Really gets my nipples hard.
Yeah.
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 That was good.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Charlie Quebec Bravo.
Should have been something cooler like Quaker.
Quaker. Yeah, I know.
Like Quaker Oats.
Yeah.
What else starts with Q?
Quilt. Quiz. Question.
Yeah, we'll just leave that at that. I can't think of anything funny. But that was good. I like that fact. It's a great fact.
Okay.
You done?
Yeah, you got facts?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
So, Pennywise the Clown.
Oh, I know.
Now, in the first movie, I'm sorry, in the, not the first movie, the miniseries,
Tim
Curry.
Yes, sir. I saw what you're
I
going
always
for.
say Steph for some reason. I know his name's Tim Curry. He didn't have a lot of dialogue in that. It was like less than 10 minutes of dialogue or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was in the miniseries. Now, in this movie here, Chapter 2, Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise, Guess how much time of dialogue he had throughout the whole movie?
69.
No.
Oh.
Way less.
Oh, I know.
He only had a grand total of 7 minutes of dialogue throughout the whole movie.
Well, that's a great, like, I feel like it had to be like a creepy number or a cool number, and I feel like 7's also like unlucky, right?
I think 7 is lucky. It's on all casinos and shit, right? But isn't that bad in craps? I don't know.
I feel like it's like a number that's like a 7. So that makes.
Oh no, 7.
So.
But yeah.
So you mean to tell me, out of 169 minutes of movie, he's only talking for 7 of those minutes?
That's all he's talking for. Which a lucky son of a bitch, him, because he probably got paid a lot of money to do that role, and you only had to memorize 7 minutes of dialogue. You could do that overnight.
I know. That's pretty nice.
Good for him. That's a fact for you that you didn't know before. There's no way you knew either of those 3 facts. There's no way.
Nope.
But now you're educated.
You guys know all these facts now.
Yeah. So
I think that's it.
We did it. We did what we were supposed to do. We came, and now you're sticky. So go clean up and get ready for the rest of the show here.
Mark? Here's the deal. Stephen King.
Yeah.
There are few subjects, like if you are well versed with his work, there are things from names, way people talk, to certain themes, even down to cigarettes, the way he describes cigarettes. He is very transparent in all of the things that scared him, like loss of children, battle of addiction. Even like Stephen King is very famously noted for having quit cigarettes like 30 years ago, but every night he goes out and smokes 2 or 3, like on his drive to do something. But he quit 20, 30 years ago. It's like, but in all of his work, including this one, there's like the gnawing idea of cigarettes. He wrote the short story Quitters, Inc. I love his stories on cigarettes. If you're a smoker or someone that's smoked nicotine, he describes it very well. All of these, dude. Bad parents, addiction, even down to the just the fear of overcoming oneself. Like, there's so many different things that Stephen King uses for his stories. I feel like he threw all of them bitches in it and just put it in a blender. Like, every one of them is throughout this. And if you're like, if you wanted, like, how like you can make AI read something of work, or like, here, watch 5 hours of Joe Rogan and I want you to give me a mock Joe Rogan, and it could do it, all you would have to give it is it, like the book. It has all of those damn elements in there. And I really am. I'm such a sucker for that, because people tell me like, oh, Stephen King's a liberal fuck. Like, I don't care. He's an old man who was a writer and a college teacher. Like, the liberal artist is a liberal. Oh, who would have thought? Like, who cares? I don't care. That's not what I judge you off of. I'm judging like off of his work, and holy shit, dude. Like, the things he tackles really hit home for me, and it's not just like, good dog, I love horror. Like, no, dude, his elements of horror are what strikes so true to me. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm tearing up and all of it. Doctor Strange kind of got me. That one got me like right in the heart. But there are many of his works where it's like, no, I'm not like sad, but it's just like, damn, dude, this is heavy. Like, this is heavy shit, dude. Like, Eddie like left his mom to get like eaten by that creature. Like, that was such a big deal for him. Like, that was such a big deal for him. Like, all of these certain things where you're like, it can't just be like a normal murder, Stephen King. You're like Freddy. You got to go for like the most asshole thing. Like, you're like, nah. You're like, hey, we're going to put this woman in a car and have her being attacked by a dog that's rabid. Why don't you put her kid with him? Have him fucking die. Like, in the book, the kid dies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, Steven, like, who the fuck hurt you, man? Like, what the hell? Like, how do you come up with all this shit? Like, but keep doing it, but what the fuck? He just listens to Mambo number 5, and then the ideas just start flowing, apparently. Everybody's got their song, I guess. Yeah, dude. That's probably what happens. I mean, if you listen to Mambo number 5 on repeat, and they'll turn anybody crazy. Maybe he makes himself crazy by listening to that song for so long, and then that's how he comes up with his ideas. That's usually like masturbation music for me.
Okay, cool. What was your...
Say that in a song, or like just say that next time somebody says a song.
I masturbate to this song quite often.
This is usually my Beat It mix. What that fucker just say? When I'm beating it.
Beat It mix.
Like Michael Jackson? No, me. My jacking it mix. This is my self-love mixtape.
Oh my god. Stop it. Now, what is your favorite part of this movie? Do you have one?
So there is a whole shitload of movie to pick from. Lots of cool things. I can't pick a favorite character. I can't, but for some reason I really loved Bill Denborough's part, because Bill comes back, and just like in the story, when Bill is a little kid, he has a stutter, and he's able to defeat the stutter. But once he comes back to Derry, Pennywise starts living in his head, and he's having problems getting sentences out again. And he's like, how am I struggling with this? Well, he also has that really bad guilt, survivor's guilt, because his little brother, we all remember Georgie. We remember him getting his little arm ripped off. He didn't do well. So he lives with that guilt of, I should have went out with my brother that day. But it's not his fault, right? But he deals with that. And there's this other little kid he kind of grows attached to, like this neighborhood kid who he sees playing around always by himself. And he's worried that Pennywise is going to get him. And he sees him at this carnival, at this fair. And he's like, sees him run into this like house of mirrors, like this maze kind of deal. And once again, I am such a sucker for that. And like, first off, he walks into this giant like spinning floor thing that's just like, I don't know, it's like you're inside a barber tube. It just looked cool.
They did a really cool camera move with it too. They made the camera follow him.
Yeah,
that was really cool. I like that.
It was so fun. And then he's like trying to catch this kid inside this maze, and he can't catch him. He finds him, but he's like, they're glass between them. But then Pennywise is on the other side. There's Bill, there's the kid, and then the Pennywise is on the other side of the kid. And Pennywise is trying to knock down the glass and get him, and Bill tries to save him, and he can't. And I just loved that whole sequence. I loved Pennywise smacking his head on the glass. There's a lot of computer graphic Pennywise, which is not bad, but I'm trying to give Bill Skarsgård his credit, and he's got I do like his laugh. His
eye movement thing.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot of work to have a lazy eye like this, brother. Like, you got to work at it.
It's a big one.
Yeah,
it's done fell asleep. Like,
yeah, it don't work. It's unemployed. Your eye's unemployed. That's your welfare eye. Collecting government assistance. It's just not even trying anymore. But I do like his vocals. I really do give him credit there. I do. And he was ruthless, dude. He was eating kids in this. Like, there was, like, kids that didn't deserve to die. Like, that little girl under the bleachers, like, who had the birthmark on her face, like, the scar thing. And he set her up and ate her. And you're like, dude, not her. Like, that's back to the Stephen King, though. It's like, the baseball boy and Dr. Sleep. You're like, this isn't necessary, dude. This is not necessary. Like, I don't... Why, John Wick? Why did we have to include a dog in this? Like, why did we... I was fine. I was living life just fine. But then they go for people's weak spots like that. Like, it wouldn't be as gripping to me if that wasn't a thing. Even though the Losers Club are kids as well, they're, like, kind of, like, at that age of, like, being little shits. Whereas, like, when they're really little, you're like, nah, dog. Like, even Michael Myers don't kill the little kid with the pumpkin, man. Like, there's levels to this, dude. What are you doing? You don't, like, even the most hardened criminals, prisoners, if you're a child molester and go to prison, you're dead. Mm-hmm. Like, people with no moral compass even know. Like, you don't, like... So when that happens, dude, it's not just like oh yeah, like sometimes it's implied a lot in movies, or it's like, oh yeah, he killed kids, or he like did whatever. But like to get like we got like fucking 3 to 4 minutes of dialogue with this little girl. You're like, oh, this little girl, she's sweet. And you're like, don't do it, Penny, don't do it, not her. And he starts drooling. He just eats her fucking face off, dude. You're like, yeah, he's evil, bro. Like he's not. There's no like reason. Like, and it's not even like Freddy Krueger was a dude. Right? And then, like, he just, like, happened to make it to the afterlife and made a deal with some demons because he was so wrong that they're like, all right, you're kind of like a henchman in hell now, like a sleep demon dude. Pennywise, like, the whole entity of it, like, it may be the hell itself, like, the devil itself, like, everything itself. It's all of your fears. Imagine. It's like the yin and yang, like, it's the other side. Like, it's deep. Like, you can't even, like, it's everything you fear and hate and evil. And just, there's no reason. It just wants to eat. It just wants to eat. And it's like, they do defeat it, but it's like, he'll be back. You don't think 27 years this motherfucker ain't gonna be back? He's gonna be back, dude. He's gonna be back.
To make another one 27 years later when they're all old.
Fuck.
Ah, shit.
They just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with your goddamn shit. I'm watching my programs.
That would be hilarious.
Like whoever's like taking care of him, like, Grandpa, who's here? Don't worry about him. Fuck him. I beat him twice. You come in here, eat soup with me.
Soup.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, figure out the rating of this movie.
Yeah.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah! Hello, welcome. You made it once again to the one and only, one of a kind, world famous, world renowned, special Sloppy Horror Podcast rating developed by Christian Ramey.
Yeah.
Your host of this program. And he has made a rating system for a horror movie based on a horror movie scale, not a movie in general. For all you newbies out there that don't know what's going on, I'll tell you. We're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of.
That's 10 points in total, buddy.
That's correct. Now, 3 of the categories, not biased at all. The last category is worth 1 point because we got to make it an even number. We got a little bit of opinion when it comes to that, but guess what? This is a fucking movie, okay? This is a piece of film art, and it's all opinion-based. So we got to put a little bit of opinion in there because that's what we're doing here. But pretty much down the road, solid middle of the road. We're going to give you a little twist and tuck here till it turns purple. So let's get into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
Man, I really can't give it anything but a 3. I love horror. I love watching all horror. Sleepaway Camp, you don't think I love Ronnie? Angela, what's wrong? You don't think I love that guy took the time to make that? That lives in my head forever. Friday the 13th, Vic, here's a candy bar. Like that guy, is he an acting, the best thespian in the world? No, he's not. I don't care.
What's a thespian?
Actor.
Okay. Why do they call him that?
To make it sound risque. Like
thespian.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I think of something different when I hear that
I'm a
word.
hardcore thespian. Mm-hmm.
That's good. Well, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So those characters are necessary too. So I don't need that. I don't need it to be Brad Pitt. I don't want all my horror movies like that. You need a little ambiguity of like, I don't know this person, and they just did a great performance. But this had star-studded cast. I know James McAvoy. I know Bill Hader. I know all of these people. But in this movie, that was Richie Tozier. That was Bill Denbrough. That was not, oh, that's the Saturday Night Live guy. Like, that's not what I'm thinking at all.
No.
Like, they are these people. So I have to give it a 3.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think I want to get the guy's name correctly, just why we are here. I want to get his name correctly. Who played fucking Mike? Isaiah Mustafa, that guy, honestly, he probably won the
Dude, he could be the new All-State guy.
yeah.
That's All-State stands.
This
Doing good hands.
What do you
Sounds
call,
just like him.
Not the best supporting role. That guy could have won a fucking award for how great he did in this movie. He laid down so much backstory, but I feel like he's very undershadowed because he's the relaxed one, like the one trying to keep everybody cool.
Yeah.
That guy really crushed it in this movie. So I had to see his name.
Okay. So that's 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
So altogether, I do got it pulled up. We are dealing with 7, I think, or 8 in total, damn near. Well, 9 if you want to include the Spiderhead Stanley. But we have Adrian, that was the young gay man that was thrown off of the bridge, and then Pennywise, like he looked like he had him in a sleeper hold at first because his arm was up. I was like, he's doing some wrestling. Like it looked like Chief J Strongbow, but it wasn't. He was going for murder. That's not very cool. But I don't think it was because he was gay, because I think Pennywise gets all of them. He would have got me too. So, one love, brother. One love. We had Stanley. Obviously, he didn't make it. We had Vicky, the head nommed on by Pennywise. Oh, that's the little girl. That's the little girl. Psych World, or the Psych Ward inmate. That's the one that Henry, he cut his throat. Skateboard kid. Henry Bowers, he got smacked in the back of the head. Richie had to kill him. That was pretty nice. It was a hatchet to the head, dude. Hatchet to the head. Hatchet and axes, whenever they're used, nice in movies.
Yeah. Not bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so impractical.
Satisfying.
You could use it as one, but
it's a one and done. You can't use it twice.
Yeah,
it's not good.
You got to yank that thing out, and yanking an axe out of a head that is that's not a quick process unless that person is really harming you. And then we have Pennywise. Obviously, he died. Eddie, he died, and then the Spiderhead Stan. There is a variety. Here's where we have to be honest here, though. Here's where we have to be honest. For me, this is screaming a 2. It's not a 2.5 because CGI. 2 because there's a constant stream of murder throughout the movie. There are some deaths, and they're all in different ways. Some are Pennywise eating, but you got some knife kills in there. I'm just saying there's some brutality, the hatchet to the head, there's different ways of murder going on. But it's not great in that sense.
I would say that's a 1.5, man.
1.5?
Yeah.
Let's go 1.5 then.
I feel like it's middle of the road, which of all the things you described, but after the past movies that we've given 2s to, there's some far less death. In this movie, there's far less for riot,
Nothing wrong with middle of the road.
But they're quick. All of them are quick deaths.
Yeah.
Very little
cinematic
blood. They're like, so. But I mean, they are there. I mean, the deaths do affect the story. So
yeah, 1.5's perfect, dude.
Middle of the road there. So that's 4.5 so far here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. It's going to final 3-point category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
This is going to be challenging. It's not really scary for me, but I've never really been afraid of clowns. This movie just took over the world by shitstorm. This is a very...
I think they're taking... It takes over the story because of what it is.
Yeah.
Just the title.
Yeah.
And all that implies with that.
I think that way too because it was so big for us. But these young kids that I don't know if they watched the original before even seeing these. I'm sure there are some that were like, hell yeah, my parents, maybe they're weirdos like us or whatever, made them watch it. Just clown nails. There's somebody in your life that showed you clown nails. And you're like, oh, okay, I know about this at least. I'm aware of the storyline, but even without that, there were a lot of kids who really, really fucked with this story. It was very marketable. I I don't know how terrified they are though. So like it's one of those things where I do think this is a modern horror movie with modern jump scares and modern whatever. So it really depends on the dial. Like if you have somebody that's like really, I'm feeling middle of the road for this too, because it's like if you have a seasoned horror person, they're not going to be afraid. They're probably going to be on the fan side of it. Like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, there's two. They are. You're right. That's the best way to try to describe to me what I was gonna say about it. It's you got two sides to this fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got horror fans, not going to be scared of it. And then you got the just regular people who aren't really horror fans, but they like horror movies. They like being scared. They might be scared of this.
Oh, yeah. Take them to the theaters to see this.
But this is more of a teenager scary movie to me, just the way it is and all the CGI. Because it's goofy. I mean, all
Conjuring, like.
Yeah, it's all goofy shit. Like, none of this is realistic.
No.
At all. And to me, that's where fear comes in more as an adult once you start getting into more realistic shit. But there's so much CGI in this. There's so much goofy shit going on.
Yeah, you're on an adventure.
It's like Stranger Things on steroids nowadays. If I'm trying to compare it to something on how they did it.
Yeah.
But everybody likes that shit. I'm not saying it's bad, but as far as fears go, you know.
It always works, dude. Like kids in creepy situations always works.
Yeah.
Always works.
It does. So that is what is it? 4.5 plus 1.5. 6 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Final 1 point category for half a point each here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
For a 169-minute movie, I'd watch it again. I would watch it again. I definitely would. I do not have any hatred towards it. I like the story of it, and it's I don't know if it's going to be a one-night watch. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, if it was on, I'm not opposed to watching it. It's easy. You can get sucked in.
Yeah.
What say you, Ozark? What say you?
Well, I'll give it my half a point.
Mm-hmm.
Barely.
Okay.
That's because, once again, you have to invest in this. This is long, and it is kind of challenging at times to stay focused.
Yeah.
For me at this movie, because there's a lot of slow parts in it.
Yeah.
And, it's goofy to me, but all the other things in it are great. The acting's great in it. The story's great.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. So this is rewatchable to me. Am I going to rewatch this every year? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But every couple of years, I might be like, if I got 3 hours to kill, I'll put it on. I'll watch it. So.
You know what? We're gonna we got badges for different movies. Obviously, FUBU movies for us buys for horror movies. But then we've got the glass of milk movies, and this is a glass of milk movie. It's rich. You need a glass of milk with it. It's like one of those. Like if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for a chocolatey ass brownie with a glass of milk, this is it. Like it's rich as fuck, dude. Lots of story.
Yeah. So that. That the last one?
Yeah.
So that is a total of 7 out of 10 for It, Chapter 2, here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, right back up in your ass.
Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
There you go.
That's pretty good. Oh, I'm a big fan of that. Mark, if we go 30 seconds over, that's okay.
I didn't do anything.
Wait, that's fine.
Nobody
we
saw
are at the
anything.
conclusion.
Why?
Mark's been yelling. I'm pulling up our list here. Ooh. Damn, dude, we're really trying to tickle your pickles. We are this road to Halloween season because we're covering films that we know the masses love. Now, I have, there's a big horror franchise out there. It's The Face, Ghost White. I love the trilogy. And I've kind of spoke outwardly against some of the new ones, but Part Quattro was one that's kind of right in the middle for me. The fourth one, it's not bad, and I figure it's time to cover it because after seeing these new ones that come out, I can't hold as much hatred to it because I like Emma Roberts, I like Rory Culkin, I think these guys are great actors, and it's not a horrible movie, but I didn't like the concept of it because I love the trilogy. But we can get into all that next week because it's not the worst movie in the world. I will not cover the new ones. All right, the last two, but this one deserves it. So that's what we're going to do. As a matter of fact, I think I saw this with you in the theaters. I know I saw it with our friend group.
I don't know.
I was back in them times. We was young boy. Boy, we was crazy. So, you guys, make sure, like I said, if you have made it this far, that means that you guys are subscribed to the YouTube. You guys have done all the ratings. And those T-shirts, man, you got a couple weeks. I mean, by the time this episode comes out, like, we're right into October. This is going to be this isn't the first episode of October because it's going to get released right at the end of September. But we're right here, y'all. So you got just a couple weeks to get these shirts and help out the show and let everybody know. And once again, tag us if you get these shirts. Let us know. Instagram, let everybody know. All right? We love y'all from the bottom of our heart. And then, join us next week for Scrum 4. We'll be here.
Goodbye.